Okay guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aula Khoirun Nisa and I'm coming from E-class in phonology study. And then now I would like to explain a brief material about the intonation rules and the word stress. Okay, so let's go for the first material. That is the intonation rules. So what is the intonation? Intonation is about how the way the voice rises and falls when we speak, or we can call it as the music of the language. So here there are 4 types of the intonation itself. The first one is fall intonation, then rising intonation, fall rise intonation, and rise fall intonation. Okay, now let's go to the first one. The first one is fall intonation. And why do we call this as fall intonation? Because the pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence, and this is the most common sentence that we find in intonation. We can usually find it as in commands, in statements, WH questions, and confirmatory question text, or probably sometimes exclamations too. And now I have some examples here. So there are many kinds of sentence that we can use it as falling intonation. So the first one is statement. The example is here. I'm going to walk in the park. I'm going to walk in the park. So we have falling intonation. Yes, this is the statement. The second one is command. Put your book on the table. Put your book on the table. This is also falling. And then WH questions. Which coat is yours? Which coat is yours? So here also falling. And then question text. This is the question text. I failed the test because I didn't revise. Did I? I failed the test because I didn't revise. Did I? Did I? And then the last one is exclamation. What a beautiful voice. What a beautiful voice. That is the falling intonation. And then let's go to the second one, the rising intonation. Alright, the rising intonation usually invites the speaker to continue talking. And usually this is used in yes or no questions and the question text that needs real questions. So this is the example. This first one is choice. The first option, the first point is question text. The view is nice, isn't it? The view is nice, isn't it? So we have the rising action here, isn't it? Isn't it? And then the second one is yes or no questions. Do you have a book? Do you have a book? This also the rising intonation. And then let's go to the third one, rise fall intonation. Right, so in English itself, there is the combination of rising and falling action, rising and falling intonation, and we can divide it into 2: rise fall intonation and fall rise intonation. So the third one, rise fall intonation, is when the intonation rises first and then falls. And we have 3 options here. The first one is choice. This intonation is used in choice or alternative question. Is your name Ava or Eva? Is your name Ava or Eva? So we have the rise at first and then falls at the second. And then for the list, there is the category names as list. So here the intonation not only just rising, one rising and one falling, but in the list we have rising, 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 and falling. So there are 4 or probably sometimes 3 also. Here the example, I buy a ring, a bag, and a hat. I buy a ring, a bag, and a hat. So this called by the list, rising, rising, and falling intonation. And then for the third one is the unfinished thoughts or partial statement. This probably if the speaker hesitates to speak, so he or she can use this. This is the conditional sentence. So the tone rises at first clause and then follows and the second clause. The second example is, if you have any problems, just call us. If you have any problems, just call us. So in the first clause, there is the rising intonation, and the second clause, there is the falling intonation. That is called rise and fall intonation. And then let's go to the fourth one. The last is fall rise intonation. And for this shows that the speaker is not certain with the answer. So the first one is hesitation. You didn't see him on Monday. You didn't see him on Monday? This is the question, and the answer is, I don't quite remember. I don't quite remember. So there is the falling and then rising intonation. And then the second is for the politeness doubt uncertainty. So the example is, should I copy the list? Should I copy the list? So copy. So there is falling and rising action in one word. So this is the fall rise intonation. Alright guys, that is the first material, and now let's go into the second material. That is the word stress. Alright, so what is the meaning of word stress itself? So the nature of stress, we know that all stressed syllables are more prominent than the unstressed syllable. So how does it happen? Why is it possible? Because we have the four reasons for this. The first one is from the loudness, the length of syllables, the pitch of the syllables, and the quality. And here, in order to decide on stress placement, we need to know some information. So we have the rules for where should we put the stress. So we have to follow some rules. The rules is the first is morphological word. So whether this is a simple word or a complex word, and then the grammatical category also. So we can divide it as noun, verb, adjective, and etc. And then the number of syllables in the word, and then the last is the phonological structure of the syllables. And here we are three types. The first one is the simple stress, and then complex, and then compound. So how to call simple? Simple is contain only one morpheme. Example is return. This only one morpheme. If the complex, this contains of one or more bound morpheme. The example is unlock. So these have two morphemes. And then the last is compound, is more than one unbound morpheme. So let's go to the simple words. Alright, for the simple words, if the second syllable, this happened in two syllables, and this for verb, adjective, and adverb. If the second syllable stressed, the second syllables is stressed if heavy, correct. So this is stressed, and then the second one is in the first, enter. So the stress is from the first syllable, and then we have the two syllables noun. Two syllables for noun. This also can be in the first or in the second. The first is money. This is when the syllables are light, and then the second is designed. If the second syllable is heavy, so we can stress on the second. Design. And then after that there is complex word for the suffix, and complex compound. So for the complex for the suffix, wonderful. So this full, perfection, Portuguese, keys. So there are three rules. The first is stressed in the first, stressed in the center, and stressed in the last syllables. And then we have the compounds. Okay, for the compound, if the first part of the compound is adjective, the stress in the second class. And if the element is noun, the stress in the first. Sunrise. Alright, probably that's all that I can explain today, and thank you for watching me, and I'm sorry for many mistakes that I have made. See you next. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.